Hey, shout out to Dodgers territory getting Andrew Friedman on the show. He was quite busy this offseason. He talked about signing Kike back and how that was kind of going to be the only option. We can get into Farhan Zaidi on the other side of this. He also got into the Shohei Ohtani rules, kind of learned on the fly there what was changing. So let's dive into this little soundbite from Andrew.
The two-way designation is incredibly helpful. With the 13 pitcher limit,
Mm-hmm.
the two-way designation allows us to not count Shohei as a pitcher, which in turn allows us to have flexibility with our starting rotation and still maintain an eight-man bullpen. And that was part of our pitch to Roki, and something that we believed very strongly was no team was better equipped to bring him along in the major leagues than we were because of Shohei. And we have given starters extra rest in the past, and we've been pretty aggressive doing it. It's hard. And there's a friction that comes with it, especially now with the five option limit in each season. There's friction that comes with it. You're sending guys down, you're clicking along those five options, you're disrupting things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We had determined in the past that what we felt like was some advantage, or at least most cautious approach for player health, was that. And so therefore it was worth it, but it wasn't costless. And it just required us to communicate our way through it a lot. But it can be a little clumsy. But with Shohei, you can have an eight-man pen and so not put your relievers at risk. And you can have flexibility on the starting front. And so that, for us, with Shohei coming back from injury, with Yamamoto in his second year, with Roki, with other guys, Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin coming off injury, it just gives us some flexibility to read and react to what's going on and how guys are recovering, which we can't know as we're sitting here on February 10th.
And just to backtrack for a moment before that, because I listened to the whole show this morning, Dodgers territory, go check it out. Online, pod, the whole deal. Okay, really good episode. There it is. Andrew was talking about the rule change. I don't know if he knew about it, or at least didn't get the word because it had just come out, how MLB made it a 2-year thing instead of a 1-year designation. So if you've done the two-way player action in the past 2 years, it counts. I found that part interesting, that it just suddenly changed along with Shohei. I don't really know what to think, but I'm like, do we need to change the rules that way? Like, well, I like the 1-year status. Make Ohtani have to put in the plate appearances in the innings, and after like a month, they can get the extra roster spot.
It's like MLB is catering rules to the Dodgers. Just saying. I mean, it doesn't affect anybody else. Stop with the Michael Lorenzen drop in here too. like stop. It's Shohei rule, and they extended it to 2 years. Man, the Dodgers, they just guess that's who MLB wants to win, so they're just giving them everything. My question is, he talked about the optioning guys down. Are they going to option Roki Sasaki down to the minor leagues? Are we going to see him use up one of his options this year?
No
chance.
He would have to pitch terribly. If they do that, he's getting out of the contract and he's going to re-enter the signing process.
Can't get out.
I'm kidding, but
who
he's
else
not.
Is going to
No,
be
he's not getting optioned.
Who else is being optioned down?
I don't know. I don't really dig into their roster. I've never really dig into their roster very deep.
You're saying who's making the rotation?
I can tell you who's not. Pages might get optioned. Some of their bullpen guys can get optioned. Some of their younger guys.
He was talking about the option. I heard him talking about how to deal with having more starting pitchers, how the option, working 6-man rotation, the option, like 5, like you can't have 7 guys in your rotation and not expect, like Yamamoto has options, Roki Sasaki has options. They're talking about that flexibility allows Roki to be on the roster but not wear out their bullpen. Like, are they going to use those options that are available? Because you can't option Blake Snell. You can't option Tyler Glasnow. You can't option, Tony Gonsolin doesn't have any, but he's coming off an injury. Like, there's a lot of guys that don't have options. Those two have options.
No
chance.
No chance.
No chance. Something would
No
have to
chance.
go
You don't think
incredibly wrong.
No, I'm not saying they're pitch bad. I'm saying to be able to, it gives them flexibility to be able to, like a healthy option.
No,
chance.
because then you're messing with his service time, you jerk.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that to my service time. Then
not only that, but you're just
matter.
going to destroy his confidence. You're not going to tell him, hey, by the way, you've been throwing great, good or bad. Oh, we're going to send you to AAA just because we need another guy to pitch. He's going to be like, I'm going to pitch. There's no way.
No. I'm saying because they're going to manipulate their innings. Is that not what you heard Friedman say, talking about how you can't?
But you can't just option the guy. They're not just going to option him down and say, don't pitch. They're going to option him down and say, don't pitch.
They could do that, but then
Totally
he has to
can do it.
spend X amount of days down in the minor
They're not
leagues
gonna- they're
or
not
off
gonna
of the
do
big
that.
league roster.
And throw
They're not gonna
bullpens. Well, they wouldn't say, hey, you're going to miss this time in the rotation, and we'll just keep you on the roster and essentially be one man down, but we're just going to have you throw bullpens because you're missing this spot in the rotation because you only threw 101 innings last year and 111 innings the year before. Like, they're going to have to manipulate his innings. You can't put him on the fake IL. We already know people will lose their jobs for that and get suspended for that. So I'm reading between the lines. I've seen it done. You can play well and still be optioned and just go and throw bullpens and not be on the big league roster.
Number one, someone's going to get hurt. Number two, there are players with options. Not many, but Tony Gonsolin looks like he has one left. Bullpen's pretty stacked up right now. But I think they have that one extra space. I think they're okay.
They'll be fine.
It's not going to be a roster crunch situation. Let's call it that. I understand what you're saying on the other side of the spectrum is this is a competitive advantage. If we are giving this guy a longer break and we option him, we are legally able to do that within the rules because he has his options. He's operating like a first-year league minimum player. With that being said, what kind of example would that set for future Japanese players that want to sign with the Dodgers if they're under 25 years old?
They took care of his arm. They're not optioning like the way that you guys are talking about options. Oh, that's a demotion. You're being demoted. No, he's being. It's just a roster manipulation. It's not anything. Hey, we know they're going to him. They're going to Roki and saying, we know you can throw about 130 innings this year. How do we do that? Well, here's some of our options. We can put you on the IL. We can throw you 4 innings a time every 6 starts. We can do this. So they're telling him, and they're telling him how they want to keep him healthy. All things that Friedman said, they have to figure out how to keep these guys healthy too.
Yeah, see, I'll agree with some of what you're saying in terms of resting. I'm all for that. I just think there's one big delineation. It's called the Phantom IL. They're not going to have him, quote, lose service time and even just have the headline in Japan that Roki Sasaki is demoted to the minor leagues. I'm telling you, there is a pride factor there, and he is a player trying to get free agency. I don't know how the service time game would work, and if he goes down for a second, it's not going to be a huge deal, but you have the Phantom IL slot, which is unlimited. So if they want to give him a blow halfway through the season, they're just going to say, his ankle's sore and he needs a couple weeks, or he's got anal fissures. And then he just takes a couple weeks, the fissures go away, and he goes back to playing baseball. Right, AJ?
My head hurts. Let's go to something else. We're arguing over nothing at this point.